me actually, Toboso and team. It's actually a great pleasure to be here and to speak to each and every one of us, right? So before I delve in, deep dive into what we are going to be talking today, one thing I just want to say is that this is an interactive session, right? So you can actually just raise your hand and ask me questions in the middle just to buttress a little one or two points, and I'm happy to do that. So it's not me talking, it's us actually saying, how can we apply time management, project management in our lives? It's not just about work, it's also applicable in your personal life, either as a student or as someone working or someone looking for a job or someone actually doing extra things. You can apply these techniques in all facets of your life, right? Be it business, workplace, and all that. So I just want to actually, just before I start, right, I'm just going to play a short video on this, and I would just like you guys to type your reactions or your thoughts from that very short video, right, in the chat window. Just give me a sec while I share my screen and play this video. And you tell me what resonates with you in that, in the video. Just, I think it's a 1 minute video clip. So I'm going to have to share my screen soon. Give me a sec. So give me a sec. Oh, okay, good. I should be able to share now. Let me know when you can actually see my screen. Can you?
Yes, we see your
Hello?
screen now.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, I'm just going to play this very less than a minute.
Oh, okay. We don't hear actually what the video is saying now. You might want to add audio while sharing your screen.
Place that light bulb in the kitchen? What does it look like you're doing?
The other example.
Hello? Did you see the video? And could you hear
Hi,
it?
ma'am.
We couldn't hear the sound of the video
We could
until
not
towards
hear
the end.
Oh,
Yes.
towards the end. But did you get it at the beginning?
We couldn't get the sound at the beginning.
Oh, man.
Oh my, I don't know why that is happening. I actually set up my laptop for you to be able to hear the video, but you could see the pictures and you could watch it.
Yes, so you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to add like audio when you want to share your screen if you want us to hear the sound.
Okay, I actually did that. I don't know why it didn't pick it. Okay, just give me a sec so that I actually did that. Oh my, sometimes Teams does this thing. And okay, let me do more audio settings. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to try it again and just please let me know quickly.
We hear the sound.
Can you hear the sound now?
Yes, ma.
Okay.
Al, can you replace that light bulb in the kitchen? What does it look like you're doing?
Okay. I figured you all heard the sound this time around.
Yes, we did, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so please I'll just give you like 30 seconds. Can you put your reactions in the chat window? What did you get out of that short video clip? Just quick reactions on the video. Quick, just short. It could be one word, it could be a sentence, but I just want you to tell me what you got out. Because that video is going to speak to us in different ways. We're going to get at different things from it. Okay, someone has said unorganized. Thanks, Adeyemi. It's all over the place, Pelumi. Lack of patience, peace. Yes. Just keep it coming. Okay, unorganization at its peak. Yes. So I too am able to pick out a couple of more things from that video. Unorganization, procrastination. You must have said, oh, I will fix this later, I will do this later, and attempting to do multiple things at the same time without looking at all the things you needed to do. That brings me to the topic time management. I have a couple of slides I'm going to show, but we're not going to dwell so much on the slides because it's not something about theory. We need to be able to practicalize time management, right? Good. So I'm going to share again my screen and I'm going to share my slides for us to just actually go through it. But just know that the slide is just a guide to this conversation. Please note that it is going to be very interactive. It's a guide. So we are going to apply it to our daily lives. Let me put the slides in presentation mode. So, time and project management. Before we go into project management, we're going to look at time management. It's actually a foundation for efficient planning and execution in everything you want to do, consciously or unconsciously. We saw that video and we saw how the guy became disorganized and all the things he needed to accomplish and do. When he came from work, he was not able to do any of them. We're going to look at content, the role of time management, the tools and techniques, how we can overcome these challenges. Then we now delve into project management and look at the relationship between both of them. Okay, so another thing for you. I want someone or just two persons in 30 seconds each to tell me, how do you typically prioritize tasks when you have a lot on your plate? We saw that guy had too many things to do, too many things to fix. So how do you prioritize it? Knowing you can't do everything at the same time. So can just one person speak, please? Just one person. Then the others, please just write short notes in the chat window.
Right.
Hello. If you're not speaking, can you mute, please? Hello.
We can hear you, ma.
Ma, we can't hear you. Or is it just me?
Sorry, I got muted. Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma, we can.
Okay,
We
good.
hear you now.
Okay, good. So I'm saying, how do we typically prioritize our task when we have a lot to do at the same time? How do you do that? One person can just speak for 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be something very long. And the others you type on the chat window.
Okay, some people already dropped their comments on the chat.
Chat window. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, it's actually because I prioritize them in order of urgency, which is most pressing and requires execution. You identify the important ones first. Yes, you are all correct. You make a list to help you prioritize. Good, you are all correct in that. Right? So now going to the next, it's why is time management really important? Time management is important because time is precious. Anytime you have lost or you have not made use of efficiently, right, you lose it and you can't reclaim or get that time back. So time is precious, and that is why time management is something critical that we must imbibe in our everyday life. Okay, then we now say, what is, I don't know why. Okay, good. What does time management basically help you to do? Some of you have said it, it helps you to prioritize that so that you do the most important things first. It helps you to meet deadlines. It could be if you are a student submitting your project work or submitting your seminar paper or completing your assignments before the deadline date. And it could also help you to minimize distractions. In this time and age of social media, I know all of you are on all sorts of social media platforms. You can easily get distracted from what you have planned to do for that day. So, what time management helps you to do, it helps you to do prioritization, meeting your deadlines, and minimizing distractions, right? So, we are now going to see what kind of techniques and tools can we use to actually help us in managing our time if efficiently and effectively. So in looking at those techniques, there are different techniques actually, right? And there are different ways you can actually manage your time. You could do time blocking, meaning you have a specific time for specific activities. Like those of us that are always on social media, we have one social media account or the other that you want to catch up with, you want to engage your friends and things like that. You can actually block times in the day for that to say, okay, in the morning, I'll do 25 minutes or 30 minutes. In the afternoon, I'll do this. In the evening, I'll do this. It basically means you've blocked time for specific activities or tasks that you want to accomplish. And within that time frame, as much as possible, you are going to either minimize or eliminate distractions. So that is one technique. Another technique is the Pomodoro technique, where what does it basically let you do? You actually are able to allocate yourself 25-minute interval short breaks. So let's assume you have a task that's going to, you've planned that that task might take you 2 hours. Sitting down for 2 straight hours is actually going to be either it's going to be it's going to be tiring for you, and you can actually start losing the zeal to complete that task. So what do you basically do? You try to break every 25 minutes. You actually take a five between a 1 to 5 minute short break. It could be a leg stretch. You just walk around where you are. It could be that you turn, you pick up a phone, or you do something else that is not related to that activity. It helps you maintain focus, and it also helps you avoid burnout. Do you guys know what burnout is? Maybe someone should just quickly type in the chat window what you understand by burnout. Okay. Let me see. Okay, you want me to put my, okay, I'm going to put my presentation on slideshow, but I won't be able to see what you are typing in immediately, but I will do that now. I guess this is
So,
better.
we can always help you with what they are putting in the chat now if you need that help.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. That will help. Okay. Then you have
Thank you.
another one where you have the ABC analysis as a technique. This is actually enabling you prioritize based on importance and urgency. Why is this actually very good? You might have very important tasks that are not urgent. You might have urgent tasks that are not important. And you might have tasks or activities that are both important and urgent. Right? So this ABC analysis allows you to actually prioritize your work based on that. And you can say this is high priority, medium priority, or low priority, or it's critical, medium, critical, and low. It all depends on how you want to categorize those tasks. Then you have the metrics that actually uses urgency and importance at the same time. Something that is not urgent and important, there's really, you might put it at the bottom of your list to actually complete. Okay, so there are different techniques. These are just the commonly used ones. There are a lot of techniques that you can actually use to help yourself in time management. So what you can do is you look for the one that you are comfortable with. You look for the one that is easy for you to use, and you look for the one that meets your need at different points. It doesn't mean you must stick with one technique. No, different situations or different things you are working on, or different projects you are in, or different tasks you have been given might require you to use a different technique from what you use for others, from your commonly used one. It's allowed, you are fine to do that. But the important thing is understanding the technique and when to use it. Okay? Then we now go to the next one. What are the tools that you can use to help you in time management? What tools can you use? There are a lot of tools, but there are simple ones that you can use. We look at the to-do list. What that basically do is you list the things of all the things you want to do, right, into actionable steps. So I have put a short picture here. I want someone to, this one, I want somebody to speak this time around, not just writing in the chat window. Looking at this to-do list, can you tell me if this to-do list is complete, or if there's something else that you can add to this to-do list that will actually help you and make you track your activities better? Anyone? If anyone can actually speak up, please. Looking at this to-do list. What is meant? Okay, Victor.
Okay, ma. Good afternoon.
Good
Okay,
afternoon.
looking at this to-do list, I think time. There should be a time added to it.
Exactly.
That time have
Exactly.
will make sure that you're able to track your progress and know if you're actually doing it when you're supposed to be doing it, not just putting that, okay, I'm to do this today. But when there's a time attached to it, you know that at so point, at so period, you're supposed to be doing this, and that way helps you uh, manage your time effectively. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. You are spot on. That I actually put this to-do list because this is what we all commonly do. And it's easy for us to quickly do this without actually putting a time to it. I purposely put this to-do list for us to actually say, okay, something is missing. And Victor, what you have said is correct. There is no time on this to-do list. We have to-do list where you can actually make it into sections: morning, afternoon, evening, right? You can have, they are also to-do list. These things are downloadable on the internet. You can actually create one yourself simply from using an Excel workbook, where you can even put the time 8 to 9, 9 to 10, or you make it in an intervals of 30, 45 minutes. Why is critical for you to have a to-do list with time? It enables you track and manage yourself. Remember, this is, you are managing your time. And if you say, oh, I'm meant to actually have a meeting at today, I'm meant to meet this person today, I'm meant to do that today. If you don't put the time, at the end of the day, you realize that you didn't do any of those, or you, instead of it to have completed the three tasks, you completed only one because you didn't put a time. Preferably, you put a start and end time, or you put a range or a duration that you expect to complete that task. That makes your to-do list, right? A really to-do list that you can use to track and manage yourself. And something else you need to do in your to-do list, don't just write high level, meet Mr. A. You want to meet Mr. A so that you can complete first item, ask for maybe an approval for this. Number two, engage him for this. Number three. So you have to also break your to-do list to actionable steps so that when you are in the meeting with Mr. A, you're not just meeting him for meeting's sake. You are meeting him to achieve those three sub tasks or sub activities that you want to accomplish. So that is how you make your to-do list something that is very efficient and effective for you to use. Okay, Anthony. Anthony, you can speak if you want to quickly say something. Okay.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Now, my question is: let's assume I have to see. Let's assume I want to see my show by 12, and then I have another appointment maybe by 2:30, and office by 12. He has now have to reschedule a meeting for 2:30. So now having known that I have another appointment by 2:30, and maybe that may be the last. Maybe the show is traveling, or the meeting is, or the meeting is something we need to discuss and then implement a tax maybe for our student body or something, and then they should maybe leaving school after that time, and you may not meet him again. So at that point, what do you do? And knowing fully that you have another meeting by 2:30, which is also very important. Now you're having very important meeting at the same time, and which you may not be able to move one. So what do you do at such times?
Okay, good. So you have two important meetings, but out of these two important meetings, which one is urgent? So there are two things. If you recall, when we looked at this technique, we have importance and we have urgency. So you are correct. You have two important meetings, but one of them must be urgent, more urgent than the other. Which is it? So first meeting was your HOD at 12. Unfortunately, he moved it to 2:30. And you already have another meeting booked for 2:30, maybe with another lecturer, for instance, right? So there are two approaches. You look at which one is both important, but which one has more urgency attached to it. If meeting your HOD is more urgent, you must quickly inform your other lecturer that and apologize that the HOD moved this urgent meeting that he had planned with you, or maybe your student body, your team, or your class, to 2:30, and that you are requesting that he please moves his own to a later time, the next day or an earlier time, if you got your HOD's meeting movement on time. Do you understand? So you always look at two are important, but which is more urgent? You now apply the urgency rule on top of that importance that you have. Do you understand? Is it Victor and Anthony? Okay, good. So once you do
Anthony,
that,
yes, thank you, ma.
okay, you will now be able to know which you should go for. Okay. The other tool that you can actually use is calendars. And why I like calendars a lot is that we all have mobile phones, we have smartphones. I didn't used to use this thing before, and I was always, oh my God, this meeting is at 2, and I remember at 1:45, and I need to go to the meeting, or I started putting calendars. I started using the calendar function on my smartphone. What that has helped me do is it has helped me to schedule my task. It has helped me to see where I have conflicting meetings, and I'm also able to set reminders. So and most times I'm able to remind myself 1 hour, 1 day, 2 hours, depending on the task or meeting or deadline that I have. I set reminders, and the reminders I make it repeat every 15 minutes till I consciously stop it. And I consciously stop it when I know that I have done that task or I have attended the meeting. So that is why I love using the calendar function. I still use my to-do list because for most of you, I'll be like old school. I still write down on my notepad or my notebook. But really and truly, that will only so much for what I can do when I'm reading it. But when I want to be reminded about something, I use my calendar on my phone. And that's something you also can build in with your to-do list. Your to-do list and your calendars, you can actually use both. And with smartphones, it makes it much easier for us. Now, how do we overcome time management challenges? But before you know you want to overcome time management challenges, we have what we call common time wasters. And what are those? They are basic things. We do it every day, consciously or unconsciously. We are doing multitasking. We saw in that video, the guy was trying to do like 20 things at the same time. He actually started with, he wanted to fix the light bulb. He saw the light bulb, I think the holder was faulty. He went to his drawer to try and get something, screwdrivers or something. He found he didn't have it and he didn't have a bulb. He now said, okay, let me go and buy one from the supermarket down the road. He got into his car. He found that his car was giving him problem. Let me quickly fix the car. So you can see he was trying to do too many things at the same time. And that is multitasking. It's not that you cannot multitask, but you can multitask not 100% of the time. And when you're multitasking will not be more than like two things at the same time, right? But when you want to accomplish 20 things at the same time, it's not going to work. Your efficiency will reduce, your error rates will increase, whether from a system perspective or from a human perspective. Multitasking at the same time, it doesn't work. So that is one common time waster that we all are guilty of, including myself. When I start getting into that, I take a pause. I'll say, no, I'm going to not achieve everything I've set out to do today, right? And I start doing it one after the other, and I find that I'm actually able to finish what I've planned for the day. Another common time waster is procrastination. Oh, for those of you that are students or undergraduates that you're about to finish, oh, you got this assignment, the deadline is 2 weeks time. Okay, I will do it I will start doing it in 2 days time. 2 days come, oh no, I still have 10 days. I will start doing it again. Before you know anything, you have only 5 days to your deadline. And it's not only that assignment you have. You now found out that other lecturers have given you more assignments and you now have less time to complete it. So at the last minute to meet your deadline, it's either you do a shoddy job, or it's either you do and you have errors, or you will even get stressed out, right? And you can actually fall sick. So that's why procrastination is not good. Once you get it, you plan and start doing it, so that, because this is life, more and more things will come to you every day. Another one that is common is distractions. In this age of social media, you can actually, my phone can ring as I'm in this class. I can tell you, oh, give me a minute and pick it. What have I done? Before I started this class, I've actually put my phone on silent, on do not disturb, because it can be an unnecessary distraction, right? And you can have started something, it was going well, in the middle of it, either a phone call disrupts you, or you decided to quickly look at Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. Before you know it, you are going from one video to another, and you realize 30 minutes, 1 hour of your time is gone. Then disorganization. If you walk in the office or in your rooms and everything is cluttered up, and you need something, you need an information, finding it in that midst of clutteredness will be an issue. So it's also a time waster. Something of 30 minutes, you can actually be looking for something for 2 hours, right? It's a time waster. So these are the common ones that we all experience in our everyday life. Now, how do you overcome these time wasters? What should you do? We've said it before. You actually just apply your tools and techniques to these things. And once you do, you'll be able to remove distractions, you'll be able to remove procrastination, you'll be able to organize your space, right? It's basically you focus on one thing at the same or one thing at a time. That whole multitasking thing, it doesn't work in all situations. No, you can't do more than maximum two things at the same time effectively. Another way you can actually overcome time wasters is you batch similar things. So let's assume you are meant to do your laundry, for instance. So everything about laundry, ironing, washing, sorting out your clothes and everything, you batch it together and do it at a specific time of the day. You can also prioritize your work. You can break large steps or large projects or large activity that you want to complete. Let's assume you say, I want to write a certification exam by January, right? By the end of January, maybe January 30th. What do you do? It's looking like it's large and it's a long time, but what can you do? You can actually break it into daily activities and you prioritize which of them is more critical for you to attend to first. And something else, don't give yourself unrealistic deadlines, even in what you do, right? Because if you do that, you will have to take you are going to overstretch yourself. So give yourself deadlines that you have paced yourself properly for. But if you work or you just got a job or you just started working, sometimes you are going to get unrealistic deadlines in the office environment and workspace. What do? You take a step back and you start working from that deadline that you have given. You start working to that very day in which you were told and start putting activities and time. In that way, you can even put time to the hourly basis to say, okay, you are told that you need to launch this solution or this product by August 30th, and you are told today. So what you are going to do is you walk backwards from August 30th, the launch date. What are the things you need to do? August 29th, what should have happened? By 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., you have to be that detailed. You walk it backwards, right? And you see that deadline you were given that you thought was not achievable, you'll be able to achieve it. Do I have any questions so far? Any questions before I continue? Okay, none. So before I go
There
into
are no
project
questions.
management, okay, thank you. Before I go into project management, I'm going to stop this presentation and I'm going to put up a document where I just want to ask one or two questions to see that you actually got the concept of time management. Time, don't look at it that it is abstract. No, it is not abstract, right? You can actually, everything I've said, I actually use it in my everyday life, be it at work and be it personally. I do it at everyday life, right? So you can actually achieve all these things. So I'm just going to do a short 2-3 minutes question on time management just to see that we actually understand it. It's just short. The other assessments grades we actually shade out, but I'm just going to ask just 5 simple multiple choice questions on time management. You can actually just put it in the chat window. Hold on. Oh, so sorry. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you see it.
Okay. So let's just quickly do it together quickly. Which of these is an effective time management technique? Someone can just say the letter quickly. This should not take us more than a minute to complete, worst case 2 minutes. So anyone can speak. So who is taking number 1?
That's the slide.
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry, I got muted and I was speaking muted. Okay, for number 1.
C.
Yeah, responses in the chat going for the option
Okay,
C.
put in the
Prioritizing
chat.
tasks and urgency. Yes.
Okay, urgency and
Majority of the
important.
options.
Yes.
Yes.
1 is C. Number 2.
B.
Okay, number 3.
A. 3 is
Yes. Yes. 3 is A. Number 4.
C.
Number 4
C.
is C.
Yes, good. Thanks. Number 5.
Number 5 is A.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. So for the case study for this, Grace, we share it, right? We now need to go into the project management section. So I'm going to go back and share my presentation for us to go through. While I'm trying to do that, please, if you have questions on this, you can actually ask, and while I'm sharing my screen, and I'll respond. So don't look at this thing that is theoretical. No, it's actually what you can actually use every day. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going back. Okay, I figure you can all see my screen. Now, let's look at project management, right? So project management is not something that is abstract. Anything you want to do or anything you want to achieve in your life or in the workplace or in the business, you can actually look at it like a project. And how are you going to manage that project for you to meet your end goal? So I look at project management basically as basic as it is, like building a house. You want to build a house. How do you go about it? What should you do? What are the things you need to do to actually build a house? First, you need to buy a land. Getting the land, you need to ensure it's free from all encumbrance and stuff like that. Once you do that, you need to look at the land and say, okay, what kind of house can I build here? That is even a wrong step. First of all, you should have in mind the kind of house you want to build before you actually purchase the land. You might want to build a big house, you might want to build a shopping mall or something, and you go and get a small plot of land. It doesn't work that way. So what is project management basically helping you to do? Is providing you with a structured framework to ensure that you meet your project success. right? And that success in this case, for instance, is building a house. So it's giving you a structured framework to ensure you meet your project success. That is what basically project management is all about. And project management is applicable to all industries, be it tech, be it education, be it construction, whatever. Project management is applicable across all industries. And now in project management, there are two commonly used methodologies. There are a lot of methodologies, but the two commonly used ones, right, is the agile methodology and the waterfall methodology, right? And we'll delve deeper into these two methodologies, right, in the next couple of slides. I know you guys would have heard of waterfall and agile, and why you have done that is you have heard it from software development companies, because a lot of companies that develop software, they use one or two of these methodologies or a hybrid, a combination of both. But there are some industries that you will just hear that they are only be using waterfall, and it will interest you to know that some of them have actually started going into agile, but not all their projects will be agile projects. So you are actually able to use both methodology even in the same organization. It all depends on what you want to achieve or what your project is all about. So let's just go a bit deeper into both methodologies. So we're going to start with agile methodology. Um, a couple of years ago, I think in the early, was it the early 2000s or late 1990s, where a couple of software um, giants came together, that's people there, and say, we've been developing software in a certain way and we've seen the gaps and all that. How can we actually improve on what we have been doing? And that was how they all came together. I can remember the state in the US where they all met, and they actually came up with the whole agile methodology, where they had the agile manifesto and all that, and how they start saying this is how we are going to be building software. So agile really started from the software development world, so to speak. And why was that? Because they found out that in delivering software projects, it could take years before they are able to roll out a single project, a single solution. And it was just taking them too long a time to meet their business needs and their customers' needs. So what's this whole agile methodology about? It's a flexible and iterative way of emphasizing continuous improvement and customer feedback. It's very popular in software development, but as I said, other fields have actually started running agile. And it's basically what you are able to do things in an iterative cycle. You are able to give value before the time, right? So you might say you want to roll out a product. So for instance, let's assume you want to build a mobile app, and in building that mobile app, you realize that there are a lot of features and functionalities you want to put, but you really don't want the app to come out a year down the line. By the time your app is coming out a year down the line, other similar apps are already in the market. So what can you do in that case? You actually have to now do an iterative approach, meaning every time you keep on adding new features. You start with your base features, then you start adding more and more till you actually complete all what you want to build on that app. And you keep on doing continuous improvement, because you are going to be getting customer feedback that tells you you need to actually update and improve on your app. So that's basically what agile is all about. It's iterative, it's flexible. You actually get customers involved because you take their feedback and impute into the next build, and you get people to collaborate and focus on the same thing, and they have the same focus, the same vision, the same understanding, so they are able to collaborate better. Some of the advantages of this agile development is adaptability. They can respond to changes quickly. So let's assume you're already in the middle of developing your app and another app came out that found that because you part of what you do is competitive analysis anyway. That's a conversation for another day. So you found out that the other app has some more functionalities or their journeys are shorter and better than yours. So based on the feedback you have gotten, what do? You quickly take it into your own app that you are building. So you are able to respond to changes quickly. Sometimes it could be to market dynamics and co. And if you guys can recall, in the time of COVID, right, where we had this whole thing, you couldn't get cash and all that, we saw a lot of fintech companies spring up. What did they do? They were quickly able to respond to changes, right? Where we saw the so many like OPay, PalmPay, everything just came up, and it was so easy for people to transact and do business, even to the people that sell in the open markets, right? So those kind of things are the advantages that Agile gives you. Fine, it has some disadvantages. There's nothing without a disadvantage. If you are not careful, you are going to have a lot of scope creep. And basically, what is scope creep? You actually decided to start with 10 features, but because Agile says, oh, you can keep on getting and getting, you find yourself with 15, 20 features, and you say, how did I get myself here? So if there's no sort of control in this old Agile way of work, you will have so many uncontrolled changes. But luckily, and that is why that whole collaboration team and the involvement comes up, and you say, come, fine, we have 15 now. What is the most critical? You bring those skills from your time management in here. What is critical? What is urgent? What we should do now? What we should do later? And you're able to actually mitigate such things. Another disadvantage is that it's resource intensive, because the team working, the agile team working on a particular product or app or portal, whatever, must be focused and dedicated. So if you are a very large company and that you want to roll out so many products and co, you will see that it's very resource intensive. If you take the likes of Facebook and co, sorry, Meta has a lot of arms. We all know that. There's Facebook, there's WhatsApp, there's Instagram, and all sorts that they have, right? And now they have their own GPT. Those teams are actually running agile, and they're not just running using the agile framework. Those teams are dedicated to the different things that they are working on. You will not see a WhatsApp person going to say is doing something on Facebook. They are dedicated. So you, in your mind, you can imagine the number of resources or employees that they have, right? So that's what this whole agile methodology is about. You can ask me any questions if you want me to explain further. Then you have common frameworks. So agile is a very broad name. So there are different frameworks under the agile. You have Scrum, you have Kanban, you have Lean, and you have extreme programming and all that. So it depends on which method suits what you want to do. Building a portal or an app, Scrum might be very good, where you do things in sprints and co. But maybe there's something that you have just a bucket list, and but you want to be able to move things around as at free will, right, to a certain degree. You can use Kanban. So it depends on what you want to build or develop at that point. You pick a common framework, and you have where different tools that you can use to actually manage this whole project management method. You have Jira, you have Trello, you have MS boards and co. Okay. And at the bottom, I've tried to also tell you that in anything you do, there's always success and failure stories. So everything is not just rosy out there. No, there are failures and success stories. But what do you learn? You look at the success story, see what they've done well. You look at the failure story, look at the gaps, so that when you are implementing your own project, you don't go the way of those failure stories, because you've seen the gaps, you've seen what made them fail, and you are able to mitigate it, right, when you are doing it, so you don't fall into the same problems that they are. So I just have a couple of I'm sure when these slides are shared, you'll be able to look for it, or you can even go online and Google for more to see success and failure stories for agile methodology. This is what a lot of companies are using these days, and a lot of companies have tried to blend it into what they do. So they do the hybrid approach. Then we have the waterfall. Waterfall is as old as I can remember. And this one is a linear sequential approach. Not every project is a candidate for agile. So in waterfall, you must finish stage 1 before you go to stage 2. You finish stage 2 before you go to stage 3 and all that. And you have different stages, but at a high level, you have 5, 6 stages in the waterfall. Your requirements: what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? I want to build a bridge. How big is the bridge? What is the length of the bridge? And all that is your requirements. You now come to the design phase. How can I design this bridge? What are my options? Is it over water? Is it over land? Is it over land and water, or over mountains? Whatever. You have implementation, when you now actually start the execution. Then you have your verification, where you actually test it, to test what you have built. And you have maintenance. So you build something, you don't abandon it, you continuously maintain it. And each of these is a phase you must finish before you go to the next. You must finish before you go to the next. It has its own advantages and disadvantages also. It's a clear structure. You know what you want to do from the beginning. You know what you want to achieve at the end. You are able to easily manage it and understand it. But it also has disadvantages. It's not flexible. Once you finish a stage, let's assume you have in execution stage, you want to go and change, you want to go back to the requirement stage. It's not flexible to accommodate. If you insist and go back, you will see that your design will change. Even the implementation that you have started will change, right? If it's building a bridge and you're changing your requirements, your design will change. If you started building it, you might actually have to change what you've actually built. So those are kind of some of the disadvantages. But what are the tools that you need? You need your MS project, you need Smartsheet, and there are others. You can even use some of the agile tools to manage, because some of them have both functionalities for the waterfall and the project and the agile project management. So you also have where you have successful projects that have been completed using waterfall, and some that have not, that were also failed waterfall projects, right? So that is where we are. Any questions so far? Because I've been talking and I've said this is an interactive class. Any questions before we go to how do you select what method to use? Questions or comments? Anyone? Okay. Okay, if none, now I'm just going to ask this. When do you know when to select a waterfall? When to use the waterfall project method or the agile project method? So can someone just tell me, give me an example based on what you've understood for what waterfall is, what agile is? Can someone give me an example when you use waterfall, another example when you use agile? Anyone? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hi. So can you give me one when you should use waterfall and
Yes.
another when you use agile?
Yes, the agile is when you have project that have flexibility that is changeable along the way, while that of waterfall is for those kind of projects that are difficult to change along the line.
Okay, just give me one example of when you should use waterfall.
Okay. For instance, if you, as you have been mentioned, if a person is working on developing an app, a
Okay.
software, yes, you know there are a lot of things that are involved, a lot of stages from programming up to the final stage of development of the software. So
Okay.
alteration in that creation of software might hinder the project. So for that one, I think agile waterfall methodology is suitable?
Okay, because why do you think it's suitable in building that app?
Because it was segmented into phases, and one cannot do without finishing the previous.
Okay. Okay. Then can you give me an example for agile? Maybe someone else. Thanks, Adamu, for that. For agile, can someone else give an
Okay,
example?
We have some comments in the chat. Huh?
Okay. Can you help me read the
It is
comments? I don't want
Victor.
to go out of my screen.
Yes, I'll go ahead, ma. Victor K says when the project is sequential, building project, we use waterfall. Another example, house construction. Then Frank
Okay.
Gona says we use waterfall. We use waterfall during the production of physical hardware equipment, e.g. tablets. Then Ohale says dam construction, we use waterfall project. Ohale again says app production, we use Agile. Frank Ogona also gave an instance for mobile devices, and I think it's saying that for Agile.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone that has actually typed something in the chat window. We're all right. So you look at the type of project you've been assigned to, you look at what obtains in that company, and you evaluate waterfall or agile, right, for you to use. You might not be able to do that alone. You will do that with your project team to say what should we use to actually run this our project, for us to meet the timelines, for us to meet the project objectives and goals. So what we have all said is correct, but you have to evaluate it, right? And say what we give the customers benefit in a quicker time. And that is what sometimes Agile brings to you. But in the case, for instance, like someone said, building a dam, if you don't complete building the dam, nobody can get any benefit from it. So in that case, you use the waterfall. So you can see that what this basically is showing us is how do you select projects for waterfall or agile, right? Because the right approach is critical. So we can actually go to this link I've put here, and you will see that a project, one particular project, they tried it in the waterfall way, it didn't succeed. They tried it in the agile way and it succeeded, right? So this was actually a university in the US that actually did that study for that particular project in one of their Fortune 500 companies. I can't remember the name now. So it's something that we need to look at. Now we are going to look at the project management life cycle. Whether it's agile or waterfall, they actually pass through these stages. The difference in agile is you don't wait for one to be completed, but in waterfall you wait for one to be completed before you go to the other. Even in agile, you do these steps, but you do it in a continuous manner and fashion. But in waterfall, you do it, you end, you go to the next one. Do it, end, you go to the next one. So you have this whole life cycle where you initiate, you plan it, you execute, you monitor, and you close the project. So initiating means you already know what you want to do. You have your high level requirements. You now plan what you need to do. In that your planning is when you are deciding waterfall, agile, and all that. You now say you are executing it. You are going to monitor for a while before you finally close the project, right? So in waterfall, it is step one before step two. In agile, you are doing all these things almost at the same time. The difference is that you don't wait for initiation to be complete before you plan. If you've decided from the very beginning that this project is going to be agile, as you are getting the requirements, you're not waiting to get the 100 requirements. You've gotten 10. You started planning and working on that 10. As you are planning that 10, you are executing that 10. They've added another 20. You pick up that 20. Unlike waterfall, you must wait for the 100 to be completed before you go to the next phase. Are we kind of clear on how this life cycle is applicable to both methods, but one in a continuous fashion, the other in a stop and start fashion. Okay. Now, what are the components? So, looking at project management, you must always have some things that you are driving towards. So, now what are the components of project management? So, our key component is scope, knowing what you want to do, the time, the cost. No matter the project you are doing, there's always a cost element, there's a time element, there's a scope element. There's also a quality element, and there are stakeholders that have interest in that project, and there are risks that you will encounter in the project that you have to put mitigating actions, right, for you to overcome those challenges or risk in the project. So these are the key components of a project, agile or waterfall. Each of them have a scope. There's always a time, there's cost, there's quality, there are stakeholders that are interested, and there are challenges that you must overcome in actually delivering on that project. Now, what's the importance of project management? So, when we look at the importance of project management, it's basically all what we have been saying from when we started talking about time management. You are breaking large projects into manageable steps, you are prioritizing, you are increasing your team productivity and morale. You have clear project goals and objectives. You are tracking your progress so that you are on schedule. You are able to remove challenges and roadblocks ahead of time, and you are able to ensure that your stakeholders, whoever you are delivering that project on, is satisfied. That is the importance of project management. You can also see how it started tying into your time management, and some techniques from there that you can also use apply in project management. So now let's quickly look at the relationship between time and project management. There's a relationship, and I figured that you guys would have seen the relationship of how we started time into projects. So project management follows a structured approach or process that helps you organize, prioritize, and complete your task effectively. Time management allows you to utilize the available time to achieve your goals. So if you recall, we have tools and techniques for that we use in time management that helps you to prioritize. You can see you can bring that activity and that knowledge into project management, right? Project management gives you the framework. Time management is the fuel that keeps your project running smoothly, because you've been able to actually allocate specific times along your project cycle. You see that your project is running smoothly. And in doing that, you've actually said, let's assume you are running waterfall. Your requirement stage should be completed by June 30th. That is your milestone one. Your design phase should be completed by August 30th. That is your milestone two. So what you've basically done is you've broken your project into smaller steps, but you are using time management, right? And all those detailed activities you are writing down in your to-do list, your calendar list, those activities, you've actually written it down also in project management for you to get to that end goal for that stage. Are we kind of clear on how there's actually a thin line between project management and time management? Are we kind of clear, or do we have any questions, or do you need any clarity in what area before I go to the next one?
We are clear, ma.
Okay. Now, if you put your whole learnings of project and time management together, you find out that what you have done is you've actually created a very good and powerful synergy, taking your project management skills and your time management skills and understanding, putting them together. If you have good project management skills, but you cannot track, you cannot break down your task, you cannot prioritize your task, you cannot sequence the activities in your project, you find out that your project management skills will not allow you achieve your project in the time frame you need. That's something critical that we need to just understand and note. So putting both of them together, using both skills, and that's why time management is a skill that you can use in every single facet of your life. Using both together, you will see that your project is well executed, you are always on time, within budget, and with the right quality because you have detailed all your steps and you have put specific time, if possible, not just the date, to the hour. If you can be as detailed as that, that will be very good. So you will see that you are consistently on time. And this is the last slide that just tells us on how effective project management relies heavily on proficient time management. Because if you integrate both of them together, you are going to achieve what you want to achieve, you are going to minimize your stress, and you are going to maximize your output or your productivity. Right? So, just before I go to the short questions, that just to see that we all follow through, we understand it. Can you just tell me one or two things that you've learned, right, today in time management and project management, and how you are going to apply it to your future task? I really need two people to speak on that. Even if you are a student or you just got your first job, you are working or you have been working, but you are struggling in this aspect. What you have learned today, how are you going to apply it? I thought someone's hand was raised up now. Someone should tell me the most valuable thing you learned today. Okay, Daniel.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ma, for that presentation. My name is Daniel Dafivo. So yesterday, um, I had some tasks to do, school tasks. I'm actually an undergraduate from Federal University of Technology, Akure. So yesterday, I found out that I was not able to complete my tasks and my assignment. I was only able to do just one out of them. Why? Because everything were very important to me. I needed to submit I needed to submit an assignment on Thursday, that is tomorrow now. I'm also needed to submit an assignment also today. But what I did was that they gave me the assignment since last week, but I was just pushing this, procrastinating that I will see this. But and I found out that because I was not able to manage my time and break it into days or into a particular time, that okay, within these 2 hours, maybe probably on Tuesday, that I'm going to complete this task. So what I want to from this lesson now, what I want to do next is that when I'm given tasks and assignment to do, I will break it into the nearest minutes. That is, I will set a particular date, and also not only date, but a specific time duration to complete their tasks, so that I'm able to meet deadlines.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Daniel. Right? So
Thank
starting
you,
from
ma'am.
today, yeah, the one you need to submit tomorrow, break it into morning, afternoon, evening, because you also need to give yourself a break. Morning, afternoon, evening. What that assignment is that is due tomorrow that you are yet to finish. Once you break it from today, morning, afternoon, and tomorrow morning, put specific tasks in those assignments that you plan to complete. And you find out that before your deadline, I don't know the time tomorrow, you should be ready. Okay? Olayemi?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Olayemi and then peace.
Okay. Good afternoon, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
All right, all right. My name is Alain Samuel Ogundele, a petroleum engineering graduate from the University of Kano. So it has been a wonderful learning experience so far. I would like to go straight into what I actually learned on time management, though is what I've been, most of the things being said is what I've been practicing so far, and corroborating with what I read in a book, because I was just like linking what you've been saying. with what I read in a book by Brian Tracy, eat that
Yeah.
frog. However, there's one particular thing that I was still missing, which is I normally break my task into having a to-do list, but something important was still missing there, which I actually learned today, which is timing. So I'll just arrange my task in order of importance, but I will not put a specific time. So at the end of the day, I will look at it. If I list 5 tasks, at the end of the day, it's only 2, 3 that will be able to complete. So, and that is really lack to the time without scheduling time. And also on the project management, uh, it may amaze you that I'm just hearing about agile and waterfall methodology used in project management. However, I've been supervising some projects, but uh, I don't know about this. But today I was able to uh, identify the type of project I'm supervising and the methodology I've been using, which is waterfall. Is actually a construction site. So it's a wonderful learning experience and a good exposure for me. Hope to learn more after this section also. Thank you, Ma.
Okay, thank you, Olayemi, for that. And I'm happy that you were able to pick out some points and you were also able to relate it to what you currently do. Okay, Adeyemi,
Okay. Good afternoon, ma.
good
Can you?
afternoon.
Okay.
I can
My name
hear
is Adi. Okay. My name is Adi Emi Samad. I'm a graduate of physics from the University of Ilorin. I'm currently serving with Huawei Technologies. So I'm really, really happy to have you here. To I don't know if I can call you my noble customer because that's what we call people from MTN and Airtel here in Huawei.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So it's nice to have you here. So my key takeaway today is to minimize distraction. For instance, if you are working on a project or you are trying to read or study, one of the way to minimize the distraction is doing the right things, the right time, and at the right place. Because you might be deceiving yourself if you say you are a student, you are reading, and you are reading in your room. So I discovered that um, anytime I try to read in my room, most times I just end up sleeping. So I really, really understand not being distracted when you are about to do any task. So that point was very, very crucial for me. Then I learned some of the techniques in time management, such as time blocking and Pomodoro techniques, ABC analysis, and some of the tools that we can use for time management, which is the to-do lists and utilizing our calendars too. So that's everything I have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Right. I think I saw Pete's hand. I'm just trying to come up with questions like for it. I thought I had Pete's hand. Peace.
Good afternoon, ma. My
Good
name is
afternoon.
Peace, a
Okay.
400 level student. Okay, ma, what I learned today is about procrastination and breaking down my tasks into breaking down my tasks in order of importance. I've actually been battling with that what's it called? Procrastination. When this happen when there are too many tasks for me to accomplish at a time. I sometimes get confused on which one to start, which one will I keep, which one will I not do. So I'm actually very happy that I was given the opportunity to learn from you. So from henceforth, I'll do a to-do list because I normally don't do it. I just have it on my head. I don't write it down. So, but after this class, I'll start putting that to action. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Peace. And that is good. So in that your to-do list, put a time. If you can't put 8 or 9 a.m., break it into morning, afternoon, and evening. And you will find out that You might not be able to complete one thing in the morning or afternoon, depending on how large. So let's assume you are given a class assignment. You might not be able to complete that class assignment maybe in the morning. Maybe it's an assignment that can take you 3 days. What you put is this section, if there are 6 questions, this section of the assignment, 1 and 2, I will complete it in the morning. The other one, I will complete it in the evening. By the time you break it like that, you will see that you are able to do all your work, even your project, your seminar papers that you are going to present, right? Since you are in 400 level, you will see that you are able to achieve it before the deadlines, and you even have time to review these what you have done. Okay, so thank you all, and I'm
Okay.
happy that you're able to take it. And really and truly, it's not just for you to come and hear and know. You must actually put it to use, practicalize what you have learned, and you see that as you are doing that, you keep on improving and improving, and before you know anything, it becomes a life pattern, a lifestyle for you. So just to ensure that we're all, at least we've gotten a couple of little understanding, right, and how you can apply it. Let's just quickly go through these multiple choice questions. For the other, the case study, I think Grace will share it, right? We won't be able to go through that here for the case study and the other type of questions. So the first one is, what is the primary focus of project management? A, increasing company profits. B, ensuring projects are completed on time, within budget, and to quality. And C, managing day-to-day operations. D, hiring new employees. So for project management, number one, A, B, C, or D?
Number one is B.
Thank
B.
you. Yes, thank you. Number two, characteristics of agile methodology. A, B, C, or D?
C.
C.
C, yes, thank you. Number three, which of the following describes best describes the waterfall methodology? A, B, C, or D?
B.
Yes, B. Then number four, in project
B.
management, yes. Number four, in project management, what does the term scope creep refer to? A, B, C, or
B.
D? B, yes. Okay,
B.
so thank you very, very much. This was a very enjoyable class for me, and I hope you were able to actually get things done and get learning. So please don't just learn, practicalize it, put it to good use. You will see that it's going to help you no matter what. You will not notice it initially, but you will see gradual improvements in everything you want to achieve. I would like to say thank you to Grace and Tubosun for this opportunity to actually come and share what I know with everyone here. I'm handing over to you now, Grace.
Thank you so much, Ma. That was an insightful session. Um, I'm Johnny to take it up
I can
from
take
here,
it,
but
Grace.
before she does, sorry.
So I'd like to also ask my
Okay.
my
Okay.
sincere appreciation. I don't know if you can hear me, but I want to say thank you
Yes.
so
Yes.
very much for your very detailed class. It's been a pleasure having you here. I know one of the misconception around time and project management is that it's a needed skill only when you're doing complex tasks. But I really like that you broke it down even to the simplest of all tasks like going to class, writing your exams, doing your seminar, in that regard. So really thank you. I thank you also because you brought all of yourself into this class and you stayed with us. Appreciate it. So on just to share some perspective on a few things that we had discussed earlier before this class started, we're still going to post this question as assignment into the Google Classroom, and we would expect that everybody picks that up and answers, and we'll share the feedback with our class. We're hoping that we can also get some of you to have the opportunity to practice this It's an ongoing conversation, but something that I'm excited about with all of our faculties nominating that they are happy to make that happen. So, Otas, I really do appreciate God bless. I just thought it was important to step out and say this thank you myself and then hand over
Okay.
to the
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's show her
Thank you
love. Let's
again.
show her love. Let's clap. Emoji. Love. If you enjoy the class, yes, show some love. That was very, very insightful. Like we all need time management and project management to be able to function effectively. Yes, we need it to function effectively. But if you don't, hmm, you just find yourself doing so many things and you are not just doing productive. So thank you guys, Peter, once again. All right, so I think we'll go right ahead. One of you, like we always do, we want one of you to thank our
Don't talk
speaker
to me.
for us. So who is going to do that? Keith, you want to say thank you to
Good
our
afternoon,
speaker,
everyone.
our faculty for today? Okay, bye.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Joshua
Yeah,
Eze. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
can hear you, Anthony.
Okay. On behalf of ProAlly and the Nexus community, I want to say a very big thank you to you, ma'am. Thank you for exposing us to deeper dimension of time project management. I usually used to think that multitasking was a great deal, but now I know that it's part of the common distraction, something that can quickly take you off your target. And I will mention that yesterday I was trying to write a letter to my future self, and then later I turned on my WhatsApp. That wasn't remembered that I need to write my YP chair, my section chair, and all of those things. So now I know very well that when those ideas come up again, I'll just pen them down and then do the first one first, and then go back to the one that came up later. So I want to say thank you so much for your time. You broke things down the way it was very, very easy for me to understand. So thank you so much. On behalf of Nexus community, we want to let you know that we love you and we say a very big thank you to you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me, and thanks for a very interactive class. It actually made this whole discussion very engaging and interesting. Thank you, and do have a lovely day. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Ma. Yeah,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Thank you, Ma.
Bye, but thank you for your time.